When it comes to homes, for many people, it's the bigger, the better. Now, I know we're not all fortunate enough to live in the largest, coolest spaces, but if you could, you'd probably want to consider what our filthy rich fellow humans are doing all across the globe. From mind-blowing waterfall paradises to bizarre bubble abodes. Imagination is the only limitation for those lucky enough to live in some of the largest mansions in the world. Bubble Palace, France. So you just heard me mention a bizarre bubble abode, and I wasn't exaggerating. Officially called Bubble Palace, or as the French would say, Palais Bulle, this French mansion is composed of 13,000 square feet of abstract, interconnected pink domes. This Frankenhome was brought to life by Hungarian architect Antti Lovag and was completed in 1989. And like most things from the 80s, you probably either love it or hate it. Even if the aesthetic of this mansion doesn't tickle your fancy, I think its 10 bedrooms, tropical gardens, pools, and waterfalls just might. Not just that, but who wouldn't want a 500-seat amphitheater in their garden overlooking the Mediterranean Sea? This insane $390 million mansion belongs to fashion designer Pierre Cardin, who moved in back in 1992. Certainly unique, yet equally weird, there's only one way to describe this mansion. Je ne sais quoi. Crystal Point. Got a spare $75 million? No? Oh, well, that's a shame, as our next mansion, Crystal Point, practically sells itself, even at that price. This lakeside retreat seamlessly snuggles itself into the hills of Lake Tahoe and offers its residents stunning panoramic views of the lake, which straddles the borders of California and Nevada. Sprawling over 16,000 square feet, this slice of heaven comes with 8 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms, movie theater, and wine cellar. Best of all, though, would be gliding up and down the hill in the glass funicular that transports you from main house to the beach house. Yeah, there's a beach house too. But wait, what's a funicular, you ask? Well, it's essentially a cable railway system used to traverse steep slopes, like those of Lake Tahoe's shoreline mountains, which is really the only practical solution for the arduous task of getting to and from the beach house. Private mountain house problems, am I right? Sky Lane. 12255 Sky Lane, Bel Air, aka rapper Travis Scott's house, is definitely one to get your eyes turning green with envy. Sitting elegantly in the hills of West Los Angeles, this yacht-inspired mansion flaunts a luxurious infinity pool that even has an underwater sound system, alongside a wine cellar, a home theater, and an orchard too. The home takes up a substantial 16,700 square feet and cost an even more substantial $23 million, which, considering its original asking price of $42 million, means it's an absolute bargain, right? For that price, you also get 7 bedrooms, 11 bathrooms, and 3 stories of contemporary open-plan living space. With all this, and perhaps more that we don't know about, Travis's bougie Bel Air mansion is sure to make anybody feel like a fresh prince. Palazzo Stein. Neighbors, nobody really wants them. But Dow and Carolyn Stein, owners of Palazzo Stein, definitely don't have to worry about that. But before we find out why, no luxury mansion is complete without an equally high-quality supply of coffee. And that's why today's video sponsor is Trade Coffee. Trade delivers from the nation's best local roasters right to your doorstep. With so much coffee to explore, Trade have an intuitive, quick quiz to narrow down the perfect varieties for you, which are then delivered on your preferred schedule. You then rate the coffees you receive so Trade can continue to delight you with curated coffees you'll love, all roasted and shipped within 24 hours of ordering, and in compostable packaging. Plus, if you don't love your first coffee order, Trade will ship out a different bag for free. Best of all, this holiday season, you can give the tastiest gift with Trade's personalized gift coffee subscription. So take the quiz using the link in the description and enjoy free shipping and $15 off your first 3 bags when you sign up. Now back to Dow and Carolyn Stein's jaw-dropping palazzo. This 32,000 square foot mansion dwells in the South African countryside and is guarded by its own Colosseum-like barricade. Not just any old Colosseum-like barricade, though. No, my friend, this is actually what's known as an aqueduct, which, back in the BC days, our Roman friends would use these as systems to transport fresh supplies of water to cities using nothing more than gravity. And an upriver water source likewise provides the waterfall spectacle of Palazzo Stein. Classical Italian design is carried all throughout the mansion, with grand staircases, pillars, domed ceilings, and marble floors. At a hefty $25 million, Palazzo Stein comes with 7-bedroom suites, a 2-story library, pools, and an extraordinary subterranean garage that stores up to 33 cars. Yep, it's nothing but excess at Palazzo Stein. Odeon Tower Penthouse. Once upon a time, the penthouse suite in London's One Hyde Park proudly reigned as the world's most expensive apartment. That is, until Odeon Tower Penthouse in Monaco barged in and said, "Hold my drink." While One Hyde Park's penthouse cost $160 million, Odeon reigns supreme and will set you back by a staggering $387 million. Taking up the entire top 5 floors, this penthouse is fluent in the language of luxury and provides a sky-high paradise for some lucky gazillionaire. At 35,000 square feet, this premium pad comes with 5 bedrooms, 3 staff bedrooms, and a rooftop deck, which features a rooftop water slide that transports you directly to the infinity pool. I can almost hear the child inside of me screaming with delight. The metaphorical child, of course. Don't worry, I didn't need a child. Let's move on. As you glide down the rooftop slide, you're greeted with almost 360-degree views of Europe's Mediterranean coastline. And if that doesn't do it for you, then perhaps the idea of having your own personal chauffeur, caterer, and concierge will. With people driving and cooking for you on demand, the only flaw in this flawless property is the pretty penny it costs. Billionaire, 924 Bel Air. Up next is another one of Bel Air's bougie abodes, aptly and simply named Billionaire. The property yields a copious 38,000 square feet and provides its lucky occupants with 4 stories of chic, modern living, all while providing incredible views from LA's mountaintops to the oceans. So at $150 million, how much bang are you really getting for your buck? Well, there's 12 bedrooms, 21 bathrooms, 2 gourmet kitchens, 5 bars, a Dolby Atmos theater, a bowling alley, an infinity pool, a massage spa, a wine cellar, and 100 curated art installations. Perhaps the most exciting feature of the house is its assorted candy wall, displaying a rainbow of candy. It makes the perfect stop-off for your trips to the on-site theater. Pritzker Estate. Where would the heir of $1 billion fortune live? Look no further than Beverly Hills, California. No stranger to a millionaire or two, Beverly Hills is home to Jennifer Lawrence, Dr. Phil, Simon Cowell, and Anthony Pritzker. That last fella I mentioned is the heir to the $1 billion Hyatt Hotel fortune, and Pritzker's estate sits on an astonishing 49,000 square feet. And from an aerial view, almost looks like some kind of spaceship. Aerial shots, however, are all that we have to work with, as Pritzker's private estate is, in fact, very private. For now, we're just going to have to let our mind's eye imagine what his reported bowling alley, games room, media room, library, in-house hairdressers, and state-of-the-art gym looks like. But with all that immaculate topiary, I'd be happy just to live in the garden. Elite Estate. Yet another Bel Air mansion. The Elite Estate certainly lives up to its name. Valued at around $100 million and taking up a grand 50,000 square feet, this property is more than 3 times larger than Lake Tahoe's Crystal Point. This Spanish-style villa is seemingly still under construction. However, when it's completed, it will be kitted out with all the lavish luxuries you'd expect. 2 Olympic-sized pools, 6 bars, a wine cellar, a sports court, car gallery, a sauna, and a fitness center. Within the estate, there's also a generous 8 bedrooms and 21 bathrooms. So while we soak up all that luxury, maybe we can ponder on why it is these millionaires need so many toilets. Like, seriously? Xanadu 2.0. The mansion home of the 4th richest man in the world, Bill Gates, sits quietly in the suburbs of Seattle and has been dubbed as Xanadu 2.0 by the tech mogul himself. Xanadu refers to the titular character's home in the classic movie Citizen Kane, and the term is used more generally to describe any place that is magnificent and idyllic. And Gates's estate is both of those things. Positioned on the edge of Lake Washington, Gates's $147 million Xanadu 2.0 boasts 8 bedrooms, 6 kitchens, and 24 bathrooms. And I know what you're thinking. Gee, be amazed, surely as one of the biggest, richest men in tech, Bill Gates's house has a few more quirks. And quirks it certainly has. There's an estate-wide server system, an underwater music system in the pool, and scanners in each room that automatically adjust temperature and music preferences to each guest's personal tastes as they enter. While images of the interior are rare due to Bill's preference for privacy, some online sources claim this image shows one of the home's bedrooms, complete with a personal aquarium. But even if the image proves to be a false attribution, with 66,000 square feet, the estate sports more floor space than an entire football field, meaning there's still plenty of space for a movie theater, a custom-built trampoline room, and a library that conceals a secret bookcase passage to a bar. There's no doubt, Xanadu is certainly worthy of its name. Caesarea Mega Mansion. Spread across almost 70,000 square feet, you'd better have deep pockets if you fancy living in this $250 million pad in Israel. Home to Russian billionaire investor Valery Kogan, this spectacular mansion seemingly takes its architectural inspiration from the regal stylings of conceptual designs like this and makes them even better in real life. With grand staircases, stunning crystal chandeliers, and 14-karat gold moldings, it's easy to see how this home is fit for a billionaire. With all this money and space, Kogan can enjoy indoor and outdoor pools, a game room, a cinema, and a sauna. The red carpet is always rolled out at Valery's mega mansion with Baroque design throughout the estate. In fact, with all these ornate fittings and antique furniture, the mansion wouldn't look out of place in a lineup of the British royal family's estates. And if you ask me, it might even outdo them. Sorry, Queen Liz. Linwood Hall. Judging by their homes, you might think the lives of super rich people are always a bed of roses. But the life of Peter Widener, the wealthy creator of Linwood Hall in Pennsylvania, proves that isn't always the case. After his wife, Hannah, died in 1896, he decided to vacate their townhouse in Philadelphia and conceived Linwood Hall, a 110-room mansion in Pennsylvania's Montgomery County. The new mansion would be a place where he and his family could live together, away from the painful absence his deceased wife left at their last home. Within this 70,000 square foot estate, Widener accumulated a total of 110 rooms, including grand ballrooms, an art gallery, and drawing rooms decked out with real tiger pelts. The new home was beautiful and estimated to have cost the equivalent of around $200 million today, adjusted for inflation. Things were going great for Peter & Co. until the year 1912. 12 years after Linwood Hall's completion, Peter's son, George, would board the Titanic with his wife and son, Eleanor and Harry. And I think we all know how that story goes. It's not all bad, however. Eleanor would actually survive the shipwreck on one of the ship's few lifeboats, so that's something at least. The mansion, however, fell to abandonment after Peter Widener's son Joseph, who inherited it, passed away in 1943. Now it finds itself fading more and more into obscurity as it remains abandoned, awaiting someone to come and revitalize the enormous estate. Feeling up to the task? Versailles, USA. Nicknamed Queen of Versailles, Jackie Siegel plays matriarch in her very own version of Paris's Palace of Versailles. If you're wondering who exactly Jackie Siegel is, she's an American model, actress, and wife to a very rich old man named David Siegel, a businessman who founded Westgate Resorts. And now, Jackie is building her own resort. While the design doesn't allude that much to France's original Versailles, its $100 million value and 85,000 square feet of space exudes all the grandeur of its Parisian muse. Although not as large as its French counterpart, this Florida mansion still has an abundance of space, which will house all Jackie's wacky ideas for her Parisian paradise once it's complete. Jackie has been chipping away at this mammoth project since the early 2000s, but due to recessions, a global pandemic, and other assorted reasons, the project has seen its expected completion date delayed to sometime in 2022. So, what spectacular spectacles can we expect to see in Versailles? Well, it's said that the mansion will feature 14 bedrooms, 9 kitchens, 2 outdoor pools, and 3 indoors, a ballroom, a wine cellar, an exotic fish aquarium, and even a movie theater with a Parisian opera house-inspired look. I guess when you build a mansion over the course of 20 years, you have a lot of time to think about what you want. Long live Queen Jackie. Underground mansions. London is famous for its underground public transport system, but few people are aware of the growing trend in the super-rich circles of London and its surrounding counties of underground expanded mansions. This movement is being dubbed as iceberg homes, for the reason that the exterior is just the tip of the iceberg of what's actually going on underneath. This mega basement trend is taking London by storm, and more than 4,000 homeowners have reportedly decided to enhance their homes by thinking inside the box. Wittenhurst, for example, is a 1930s mansion located in Highgate, North London. On the surface, it's already an impressive mansion, but back in 2010, the local council approved plans for Wittenhurst to extend its interior by 40,000 square feet by digging down. Wittenhurst's expansion is currently underway and plans to include a 70-foot-long swimming pool, a cinema, massage and sauna rooms, a gym, staff quarters, and space for 25 cars in the sub-basement. Once complete, Wittenhurst will be the second-largest property in England, losing out only to Buckingham Palace, and will be worth around £300 million or $401 million. However impressive this might be, Wittenhurst isn't the first and certainly won't be the last to carry out such home improvements. In fact, lurking beneath a large house in London's Holland Park area, you'll find financier Edmund Lazarus's personal leisure center. Inside the 16,000 square foot underground den, the Lazarus family enjoy their swimming pool, hot tub, sauna, entertainment room, and even a wine cellar. This £18 million gold mine took around 50 weeks to complete, and to look at their period home, you'd never suspect a thing. Perhaps a little more ambitious, or just downright insane, is British real estate billionaire John Hunt's plans to create an underground car carousel. His secret subterranean garage will include a 5-story Ferris wheel that displays up to 8 cars. Because when you're that rich, picking out your car for the day is basically the same as picking out your outfit. While this proposal is reportedly yet to be realized, something tells me we wouldn't know either way. After all, they say, you never know what goes on behind closed doors, and in this case, you just never know what goes on beneath mansion floors. The One, Bel Air. So, we meet again, Bel Air. The next colossal property is simply known as The One. It's arguably the crowning jewel of this West Side LA neighborhood. This 105,000 square foot mansion blends seamlessly into the hills, providing incredible panoramic views. The mansion accommodates 20 bedrooms, 30 bathrooms, 7 swimming pools, a library, a full-service beauty salon, a private art gallery, and, of course, a cigar lounge. But all that's pretty tame when compared to what didn't make it into the final cut. Ideas such as an ice bar and a jellyfish room proved impractical and expensive, because I'm sure the rest of the house was totally practical and cheap. The One isn't without its problems, though. Its developer, Niall Niami, allegedly defaulted on more than $100 million worth of loans to finance the build. However, with no buyer in sight, this $500 million LA mansion has been forced into a foreclosure sale, meaning the bank will sell the house at auction as a means to foot the bill of the developer's debts. So what's the main takeaway? 30 bathrooms aren't necessary if you can't afford them. Oheka Castle. Back in its heyday during the 1920s, this Long Island, USA mansion, Oheka Castle, was the place to be. Its owner, Otto Herman Kahn, created an acronym from his name and thus named the mansion Oheka, a place where he and his family would spend the summer and throw famously lavish parties. After Kahn died, Oheka Castle fell into disrepair for a while, before it landed in the hands of a local developer who invested millions in restoring it back to its former glory and converted it into the hotel that it is today. Built in 1919, Oheka Castle came with 127 rooms, 39 fireplaces, and a team of 126 servants. And at 109,000 square feet, the castle has double the square footage of the White House. These days, Oheka finds itself hosting weddings and being the backdrop for Taylor Swift's Blank Space video. Though, with all its history and elegant design, Oheka is anything but a blank space. Oheka! Biltmore Estate. When it comes to mega mansions in the US, North Carolina's Biltmore Estate is the heavyweight champion. With an estate that stretches across 175,000 square feet and a total of 250 rooms, this regal residence certainly packs a punch. Biltmore has 35 bedrooms, 43 bathrooms, 3 kitchens, and a total of 65 fireplaces. Not only that, but the 19th century property also features what would have been technological wonders at the time, such as electric elevators, forced air heating, centrally controlled clocks, fire alarms, and a call bell system. This innovative estate was built for art collector George Washington Vanderbilt II in 1888. After spending much of his adult life in one of his ultra-wealthy family's residences, he decided he would build his own mega mansion. And the result, Biltmore, became the largest mansion in America. With chandeliers and conservatories like these, Vanderbilt's first home was certainly a lot nicer than the first place I moved into. Antilia. What's the difference between a million and a billion, aside from the latter being 1,000 of the former? Not sure? Well, in perspective, a million seconds is 12 days, a billion seconds is 31 years. Now, with that in mind for reference, this next mansion is worth an insane $2 billion. This decadent abode is none other than Antilia, located in Mumbai. Standing 500 feet tall with 27 stories and racking up a total of 400,000 square feet, Antilia is a little different to your average run-of-the-mill mansion. The house was built with the highest quality, most premium building materials in order to withstand natural disasters, such as the earthquakes that run amok in Mumbai. And while this is very impressive, it's not the only trick Antilia has up its sleeve. Included in that $2 billion price tag is a temple, a helipad, a ballroom, health spa, movie theater, 168-car garage, and even an ice cream parlor. And it seems Antilia has got everything figured out. Can't stand the heat of Mumbai's summer? Well, just make your way to the snow room, which is effectively a cold sauna. Joke's on them. My apartment is so cold all the time, I don't even need a snow room. Buckingham Palace. It just wouldn't be a video about mansions without one fit for a queen. As in, a real queen. Not you, Jackie, Queen of Versailles. And which better than Buckingham Palace, the home of Queen Elizabeth II? Since Queen Victoria moved in 1837, Buckingham Palace has remained the official royal residence of England and is located in the London Borough of Westminster. Claiming the title of most expensive house in the world, the palace is roughly estimated to be worth a staggering $4.9 billion and swallows a huge 828,000 square feet of prime London real estate. Within the palace, you will find 775 rooms. Of them are 52 royal rooms, 118 staff bedrooms, 92 offices, 78 bathrooms, and 19 state rooms. The state rooms are the cream of the crop in Buckingham Palace. They're the rooms where the royals will host guests and flaunt their wealth through expensive art pieces and over-the-top decor. So clearly, the palace is certainly kitted out to the highest standard. But oddly, various British newspapers have reported that the royal family actually hates Buckingham Palace. I know what you're thinking, those royals are just being divas. But reportedly, the palace is secretly suffering from roof leaks, asbestos, falling pieces of facade, and even a rodent issue. I feel so sorry for those totally impoverished conditions. It's perhaps for these reasons that Queen Liz chooses to stay elsewhere at Windsor Castle and Scotland's Balmoral Castle whenever she can. While as Queen, she has to officially live at Buckingham Palace, it's said she prefers the tranquility of the country as opposed to the hustle and bustle of London. But if she's not using the palace, I wonder if she'll mind if I do instead. Istana Nurul Iman Palace. Want to know just how big the biggest mansion in the world is? Well, let's just say that the entire population of Vatican City could live in it. That's right, with a population of around 800, Vatican City's entire populace would have no problem fitting in this enormous 1,788-room mansion. Istana Nurul Iman Palace, located in Brunei, covers a mind-blowing 2,152,782 square feet and features a mosque, 257 bathrooms, 5 swimming pools, a 110-capacity car garage, and air-conditioned stables with space for up to 200 ponies. With Brunei being a place where incredibly decadent buildings, like the nearby Omar Ali Saifuddin Mosque, are in no short supply, the Istana Nurul Iman Palace and its surrounding buildings wind up overshadowing that teeny-tiny Buckingham Palace. Yet worth less than half the price, this $1.5 billion mega mansion certainly gives you more bang for your buck. That is, of course, if you're in the market for buying crazy mansions. With intricately detailed decor in every room, from the theaters to the conference chambers, the Sultan of Brunei's official residence takes the crown as not only the biggest home in the world, but if you ask me, the most beautiful too. Now, just to figure out how to get my place looking like that. Which of these enormous mansions would you most like to call your home? Let me know down in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching.